Are you a new PhD or master's level student? Are you thinking about what you should be doing to have a great first semester? In this video, I will describe 10 things that I would do if I was starting my PhD all over again, taking into consideration my acquired knowledge and experience as a PhD candidate. Hopefully these insights might be helpful to you in some way, shape, or form. If we haven't met yet, my name is Jacqueline Beaulieu. I'm a PhD candidate studying higher education at the University of Toronto, and welcoming students and supporting their transition is super important to me. So if you'd like to learn more about the types of things one might do during the first weeks of a PhD or master's program, then keep on watching. So something to keep in mind is that my tips stem from my experiences of studying in the social sciences. You should also know that I'm a full-time student. I attend my program in person. Unlike some of my peers, I'm not raising a family at the moment. I do have some other personal and family obligations that help me understand what it's like to sort of balance grad school with the other stuff in life, but that's important to keep in mind. So if you're a part-time student, you're in an online program, you're raising kids, you might need to think about how the strategies I describe could be best adapted to your day-to-day needs and schedule. Also keep in mind that what you're going to need to do to be successful in your first semester will be very specific to your institution and your academic program. I really hope you'll enjoy and benefit from this video's content, but know that it doesn't replace in any way the advice given by your professors, your staff, the students in your department. So with that, let's get started. So tip number one is attend the orientation sessions that you think will bring value to you. Skip this section if you're past orientation, but those of us in Canada are just about to start. There's a variety of orientations that will likely be available to you: campus level orientations, department level orientations, orientations specific to a job that you have on campus, say being a TA or a research assistant, something like that, as well as specialized orientations or socials that you might be interested in for student parents, for international students, students from a variety of different cultural and ethnic backgrounds, for students with disabilities, students who identify as LGBTQ, and more. If you're short on time, the orientation I would make sure to attend is your department level orientation. That was the one I found to be the most helpful. You'll meet faculty, you'll meet students, you'll meet the staff in your department. While I don't remember everything I learned at the orientation, I do remember everyone I met. I still remember the first interactions I had with colleagues who would become my classmates for years, so definitely go. My second tip is to participate in both an organized campus tour and also create a tour of your own. At the University of Toronto, our organized tours are offered through the School of Graduate Studies and Student Life, and basically they're held at a variety of different times in the week or weeks leading up to the start of the school year. If possible, try to pick a time when there might be fewer participants. When I went, it was conveniently held after an orientation session, and there were so many people, and the size factor really affected what I got out of that. Try to pick a time where you can predict there might be fewer participants. You'll get to interact more with the tour guide as well as the others on the tour. Once that's done, I create my own personalized tour. Before the busy school year gets underway, return to locations that you think you might be interested in, you might use in the weeks to come. If you do this now, it's much less likely that a couple weeks, months, years from now, you'll find yourself saying, "Why didn't I know about this place or resource earlier?" Looking back, I would have spent more time getting to know the libraries, in terms of what study spaces they offer. If I had a subject-specific librarian that I could say hello and get to know. If there are bookable study spaces. I'd also want to just really master that library website earlier on. So these are all things that you can be doing. I'd be visiting all the recreation facilities and sort of encouraging myself to spend time at each one rather than just try one and be happy with that. I'd be checking out the student services buildings. I'd also be checking out the Center for Teaching and Learning because that place offers so many great workshops for graduate students with interests in teaching. Another thing is to check out the dining facilities. You know, I find that grad students don't necessarily get the same type of comprehensive orientation to the dining facilities as undergraduate students are more likely to get, at least if they live in residence. And so take the time to do that, and also figure out if there's any special programs where you can save money while dining there. So for example, at my school, if you put money on your student card and pay using that, you'll save 5 to 10% on all of your food purchases at the on-campus outlets. So that was amazing to find out, although I found it out a little late. If you're located in an urban center like we are, take the time to get to know the surrounding neighborhood, as often people will dine and go to coffee shops off campus as much or maybe more so than the dining facilities that are on campus. You'll also want to tour your department's physical location. See if you can arrange to meet up with your advisor, chat with them about the classes that you're taking, assuming you're in classes if you're in like a North American PhD program. Talk about scholarship applications that you might have coming up, ideas for research that you're interested in, that type of thing. You definitely want to start right away to foster that relationship. Seek out the staff in the department and figure out the reasons why you might need to visit them. So for example, are they the people you see if you need to drop a course after the official deadline to do so? Are they the person that you see when you hand in a scholarship application, etc.? Also ask if they have a student handbook specific to students in the department. Our department does, and it has all kinds of valuable information for students to read. Tip number 3. Find your university's e-learning portal as early on as you can. It might be called D2L, Blackboard, Canvas, or at the University of Toronto, Quirkus. Your readings, your syllabi will all be available on those platforms. Download the syllabi and readings as soon as you can and organize them in a file system on your computer. I would also download and use Adobe Acrobat to ensure that all of my readings had searchable text. You may not know that there are student discounts for Adobe products, so you can check that out on their website. Tip number 4, research and select a reference manager. If I was doing this again, I would definitely download and start using a reference manager as early as I did. Reference managers are software platforms that you can use to store, organize, and annotate digital copies of your readings. They can also help you create citations for your papers at the click of a button. It's amazing. There are several out there. There's EndNote, Mendeley, Zotero. All of them have their advantages and disadvantages, so do your research and pick whichever one feels best for you. The key is to start using it right away, because that way everything is in the same place and you're ready to go for your assignments, your comprehensive exams, and eventually your thesis or dissertation if you have that. And on that note, let me know in the comments if you would like to hear more about which reference manager I use and why. Tip number 5, get a paper planner. One of the best decisions I made as a grad student was to return to using a paper planner. I didn't make the switch until year 2 of graduate studies, and I wish I had done it earlier. There's something about using pen and paper that just helps me to remember upcoming appointments and tasks better, as well as think creatively and intentionally about how I schedule my time. For peace of mind, I do still keep an electronic calendar so that I get alerts about really important upcoming deadlines or appointments. So right now I'm using a passion planner and a bullet journal to meet my scheduling and planning needs. I personally think that Passion Planner is one of the best planners out there for grad students. You get the entire week in half-hour time blocks, which is so great for scheduling. You've got spaces for personal and work to-do lists. It includes exercises that help you gain clarity in terms of what you want to accomplish most in the next 3 months, year, 3 years, and in your lifetime, and then helps you figure out, what are the little steps involved in achieving all of those things and mapping them on to your availability. There's also this small space that I use every week to write down the good things that happened, and so that's really just helpful for mindfulness. And there's just space throughout the planner, at the back of it, on each of the spreads to be creative, scrapbook, journal, make longer lists, that kind of thing. If you'd like to hear more about how I use this planner as well as a planner called the High Performance Planner, feel free to click this video that's going to pop up. The High Performance Planner is a daily journal, and I was getting really good at it. It's a structured sort of format that I decided to shift to my own sort of personal daily journal, which is my bullet journal here. The bullet journal is for daily to-do lists, journaling. I find it very therapeutic. You can find so much online about creating your own sort of personalized notebook. Some of my best ideas come from journaling sessions in this book. So definitely watch the other video. The one thing I'll say for now is that in your first 2 weeks, you definitely want to go through your syllabi and map on all of those due dates and start to think about working backwards. What are all the small steps involved and how are you going to map them onto your calendar so that they get done and that you are well in the process? If you're doing these types of assignments for the first time, you might show your strategy to a prof, to some returning students, to get their feedback on how feasible your plan looks. If you'd like to get a passion planner or a bullet journal, I'll put the links to mine in the description below. I just wanted to share that I got some awesome news yesterday, and that is that passion planners actually asked me to be a rep for them this year, which is so amazing. I've used their planner for the last 4 years throughout my PhD journey, and yeah, so if you would like to, I mean, you could Google them obviously and get your own, but if you'd like to help support the channel, it's just one way of doing that. I'll leave my referral link as soon as I have it in the description, and if you feel so inclined, feel free to use it and you can get your own passion planner. Tip number 6, learn or brush up on how to read quickly and effectively. So you're gonna wanna get going on your readings to stay on top of them. Here's a message from PhD candidate me to PhD student me. There's only so much time. You don't wanna spend more time on your readings than you need to, especially if it takes away from your rest, your family, other things that you have to do. I think that this is one of the most common missteps that new graduate students make. And it starts like this. It's like, oh, I'll just spend a little bit of time on this one reading or a little bit of extra time on this one reading. And you know, it all adds up is the truth. Say we're talking about a pretty standard research article from a journal in social sciences. The key things you need to know are what the article is about, what they found, how they found what they found. You want to be able to think and talk about its relevancy to other examples and situations, and you want to be able to sort of place it vis-a-vis, side by side, the other literature that you're reading and sort of have an understanding of how it relates to the other literature. It is so important to figure out how to do this so that your time spent reading doesn't negatively impact other aspects of your studies or your life. Tip number 7, create a budget for the year. You definitely need a budget, and I'd also recommend that you check into every student discount available to you so that you can stretch your student stipend as much as you possibly can. Doing so will help to remove stress towards the ends of semesters where you haven't received some funding in a while. So where can you get student discounts? Well, TV internet packages, computer and other tech-related discounts such as Apple, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Premium subscriptions, backpacks from Timbuktu, transit passes, discounted activities such as local museums, local grocery stores. Not a student discount, but the Ritual app, at least in Toronto and in some other cities, which allows you to earn points on meals that you order from restaurants as takeout in advance. Something else I'd also tell first year me would be to make use of meal prepping. You will eat healthier, you will eat cheaper. It's just a way better way to go. It requires time and thoughtful planning, but it's totally worth it. Plus, you get to carry cute lunch boxes. Tip number 8, if you've moved, take time to get to know your new local surroundings. It will really help if you're feeling any homesickness, if you can find your new favorite cafe, your new favorite farmer's market, your new favorite grocery store, your new favorite place to shop. Check out the public library, check out the local parks, check out the local community centers. All of these are places where you can get away and breathe a little. Which brings me to tip number 9. Do 1 to 2 activities per week that simply bring you joy. Think of activities you've enjoyed in the past, even as a kid. See what your campus or neighborhood has to offer related to those activities. As a first year, I waited to sign up, worried about my workload, and I now wish I hadn't. If you get busy and have to miss 1 week, so be it. Every other time you'll really enjoy it. I've done skating at a local skating club. I've done tap dancing classes at a local dance studio. It might be as simple as signing up for a group fitness class such as Zumba on campus or off campus, or maybe a recreational photography class being held at a local club or community center. Doing these things can help with tip number 10, which is to start making friends. I'm gonna be honest, it can be a little bit harder than it sounds, because in grad school, people tend to be really busy. So if you wanna make friends, you're gonna wanna be more strategic around creating times and opportunities and moments where you can start to foster those friendships. Looking back, I think I would have allocated even more time to this. Being in community makes the process that much more fun. It also provides support, particularly when you're working on a thesis or dissertation later on, if that's something that you're going to be doing. You might invite your new colleagues to go study with you, on a coffee break, go to a restaurant. You might follow up with cool people you met at the recreational activities you signed up for. Consider using the WhatsApp app to create a group for your new colleagues that they can use to sort of keep in touch and let people know if there is a social opportunity that they wish to invite others to. I'd also take note of those who share things in common with you. So for example, in my case, someone who's coming back to full-time studies after having worked full-time for several years. Just know it takes time to make friends. It can be a bit of a lonely process, but you're not alone. Hang in there. And now for a bonus tip, and that is to start documenting your learning and experiences. I love having the camera that I'm using to film this video on me to capture memories as I go. You might journal, you might create your own Instagram blog, even if it's only for family and friends, just to sort of feel connected to what you're doing. You might learn from yourself, it's therapeutic, it's fun, it might inform your future teaching. It's just a really great thing to do. And I wish I'd started doing that earlier. Do these things and I'm sure they'll help you have a great start to the semester. So what questions do you have about starting a new graduate program? Feel free to pose any that you may have for myself or our community in the comment section below. That way myself or someone else can provide thoughts. If you are a returning student and you have tips to share with master's and PhD students, please also provide those in the comments section. They will be very welcome. A huge thank you to everyone who has subscribed so far and click the notifications bell button to receive updates from my newest channel. It means so much to me, so thank you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like using the thumbs up button so that it will signal to others that this is a good video to check out. I encourage you to stay in touch on Instagram between now and my next video. My handle is @PhD Essentials. So until next time, I wish you a beautiful, productive, and memorable week. Bye, friends.